Hi everyone, Nick's User here. Now, it's not often that I find these articles, but as I find them, I'm going to let you know about them, of course, due diligence and all that. But I saw this article on the Register basically saying Ubuntu wants to slurp PC's vital statistics, even location, with new desktop installs. Now, this to me is a classic case of a clickbait article. Now, I love bashing Ubuntu like the next person. Not really, actually. I don't think that's fair. I think I do critical evaluations of Ubuntu when I do those distribution reviews. I think I'm quite fair, but that just might be my perspective. But let's take a look at what they're trying to say. Okay, they basically want an opt-out system. So in other words, there's a checkbox that'll be checked by default, and the following things the following data points are going to be collected by default. Now, I can see some valid reasons for these, and I'm going to interleave these between these various points. Okay, so the Ubuntu flavor, that's pretty obvious. You want to know what version and flavor you're talking about, because with the flavor, that tends to lean towards the desktop, and the version, well, that's to do with system level operating system considerations as opposed to user level considerations. But the point here in this case is that they want to know what target platform. That seems perfectly reasonable to me. If you're trying to improve the engineering rigor of an operating system, it would seem perfectly reasonable to have those. Network connectivity or not, well, that would be a reasonable thing to identify. Although it would be pretty obvious that if you're able to send diagnostic information, then you're probably got an active network. That would seem pretty obvious. Anyway, I don't really see the big deal here. Look, if they want to know that I've got a bridge network that assists my virtual machine, not that I'm an Ubuntu user, I don't really care, but, they could have that. CPU family, again, this is kernel level stuff, and compile time optimization stuff. I don't see a problem with this at all. RAM, this is obvious. You're going to want to know what demographic you're targeting, whether you can include packages that are a little heavier in your distribution based on the RAM required for those packages. And so, you want to know that people in general can run a big application like LibreOffice. It only seems reasonable that you'd want to know the RAM. Disk size, again, this goes back to what people are prepared to have as an install base and how they use, not necessarily how they use those disks, but the likely candidates. Like, for example, I have a tendency to use a solid-state drive for my operating system. I want it to react quite quickly, but for larger files, I have my server with a network connection and NFS, and it auto mounts and that type of thing. I kind of think it's not that unreasonable to ask about that. Screen resolution, look, again, not everyone's got a 1920 by 1080 screen or a 1920 by 1200 screen or a 4K screen or whatever. It only seems reasonable that if you're going to optimize your desktops, going back to Ubuntu flavor, if you're going to optimize those, you're going to want to know what the screen resolution is. Again, we're going into pretty common space here. GPU vendor and model, come on. I mean, what's wrong with knowing that, and what driver to target that particular model with? I don't see a problem. OEM manufacturer, again, Ubuntu used to be in the game of trying to get their distribution onto desktops at point of sale and on laptops at point of sale and different devices and whatnot. I don't see this as really being a big deal. They ought to know, I guess, if you're opting in for this, and again, I say it's possibility of providing them that information. It could be useful for their marketing team or whatever. Okay, but they're not going to be targeting you specifically, knowing that you've got this particular machine. Location, again, I personally don't really want my location being known all of the time. Sometimes it's useful. I don't see why they need to know that particular one, but and I suppose that's where it goes back to the slurp. But it's not a really big deal. I mean, you're probably giving more location information via your mobile phone telemetry than what you're going to give with your desktop. Installation duration, again, this goes back to the type of CPU, RAM, disk types, and blah blah blah. Of course, it's going to be quicker for those things and not. They want to know. They want to know that it's not going to take you, 2 hours to install Ubuntu. They want to know rather that it's going to be an easy decision for you to just go grab that Ubuntu disk or USB image and bang, smash it on there. Auto login enabled or not? Well, maybe they want to know. What's going to be. They want to know what's going to be the easiest for their users. People like myself, I don't enable auto login even for my home computer. I just don't enable it. It's something that they might be interested in changing the configuration by default on Ubuntu, and they have every right, I guess, as I say, to put in options like that to find out. Disk layout selected again, back to disk sizes and disk layout, not a big deal, most likely. And it also is good for the installer, so you can optimize what sizes that people are selecting for their various partitions. Third-party software selected or not? Well, they need to know, I guess, whether this is really a valid thing for them, whether people are using those third-party items. I personally don't use the Fraunhofer codecs. I'm not really that interested in Fraunhofer codecs. And that's one of those third-party bits and pieces that was there. Download updates during install or not. Again, some people just want to get installed and get going, but other people not. I think that it's good, for them to know that sort of information. What sort of target demographic they have, and live patch enabled or not. I'm not really that familiar with live patch, but again, I'm not really seeing anything nefarious there. Again, that's basically a copy and paste from this, which was actually the source where they got that more diagnostics data from desktop. Again, this seems to be more engineering rigor than marketing. If you look at there, the only thing I could think that possibly could be marketed as this location bit here, out of somewhat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or sort of 18 items, 17 items, or something like that. It's really kind. They're not doing the Microsoft thing. So this data slurping bit, it's a bit of a nonsense. And as much as I like to give Ubuntu constructive criticism, I don't really think it's warranted here. And I just thought I'd give you my opinion. If you like this video, please press the like button and share with your friends. And if you want to receive more of this content, just press the subscribe button. Anyway, guys, it's been good to give you another piece of FOSS news, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.